All right, so welcome back to another cartoonsmart.com tutorial. Today we're going to work on a little bit of background design or background art. We're going to do a kind of spooky cliff scene, and let's go ahead and make the background color a little bit darker. Of course, we're using Procreate here. You know, probably you could use any illustration program you want if you don't really care about what I'm teaching and you just want the feeling to be there. But we are going to be doing some Procreate centric tools, or using some, and we'll start off with the inking pen and just a nice black color for this. Okay, so even if you can't draw at all, I think you can go ahead and make a line, right? You can do something like that, right? So just get this whole, get a nice little top of a cliff line here, and then underneath what we're going to do is just bring it down to basically some kind of sharp, cavernous points. Okay, things like that. All right, and you can have, one of them go all the way to the ground. Let's bring it back up. So basically, just keep it kind of loose and fun. And again, even if you can't draw, I think you could do this. You know what? I might actually back up a step and have it kind of go all the way down over there. All right, so after you've done that, and one thing to check is just be sure you have everything closed off, all right? So you could, in theory, fill that in with a color, and you can do that just by dragging out. You don't have to do this, but just dragging out from that little swatch over there and fill it in. An easy way to test this is, if you just kind of leave it there, and if it does fill in easily, obviously you've got it right. And I haven't let go of the pen yet, but you can kind of change the color threshold here, and you can see if it goes up really high, it's just going to kind of seep out of all those lines. You don't want something like that, but if it's at about 20% here and it's filling in nicely, perfect. All right, but we're actually going to get rid of those black lines, okay, and just use the interior of this. Quick way to do that is to just tap on your layers, go over here to reference. So just tap the layer again, hit reference, and then step down to a layer underneath, or just make another one. I guess I started this drawing off with 2 layers. And then let's pick out our base kind of, I'm going to use a purple color for this. And let's go not too hot, not too dark, something like that. And because that layer above is being used as a reference, you can actually be below, it doesn't matter. You can see that we can fill in, and it's basically treated like we're filling that area in. So what we can do now is really just get rid of the reference. So I'm just gonna swipe to the left, delete it out, and now we've got just a nice purple artwork. What I'm going to do now is tap the layer. I'm going to select it, and then that just means that I can fill in only within there. So let's keep that purple color, but just make it a bit darker. Okay, now go over to my brushes. Let's grab just basically kind of a harder brush. Maybe this hard airbrush would work. Let's try it out. I'm going to set the saturation all the way up and just get a feeling for how dark that is. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. So we're only drawing within the fill artwork now. It's basically treated kind of as a little bit of a mask shape, if you're familiar with that term. And we can just go through here, and I'm just kind of swooping up. At times I might do a slightly little different color, something like this. And I would say that there's really not too much rhyme or reason to what I'm doing right now. Maybe on some of these stalactite type things, I'm intentionally doing a little bit on the left side of them darker, something like that instead of that. And if we put a moon in here, something like that on the right side, I guess that would make sense. Although I kind of broke from that over here, so let's go ahead and fill that one in a little bit darker. And you can go up, back down, do really just kind of, I think, whatever you want. And if you feel like it, you can even go over here and change to having more than one color. No harm in doing that. Okay, so you do some kind of really dark spots. Now, by the way, I think about for I don't know how many Procreate tutorials I've recorded so far, but I'm on the O side in terms of making these better than my initial sketch. So I did draw something beforehand. I kind of practiced for this, and I liked how it turned out. So hopefully I can kind of recreate that here. Okay, so now I'm just kind of swooping up under some of those places, maybe to just make it seem like it's a little darker underneath there. Try not to go too heavy on the pen. If you feel like you got something you like, well, wait, let me try one thing. Make it a little darker over here. Okay, yeah, something like that. All right, now let's go and add a little bit of a light tone to this. So I'm gonna go grab a nice kind of hot purple, and I'm gonna take the brush size down. I could probably even get away with using a different brush, but let's try it. Let's see. I don't use this brush that often. All right, so with basically our mask still in here, I'm just gonna now go through and do some stuff like this. So we give it a little bit of kind of top color. Don't want to go too crazy. Okay. There, I'm gonna take the saturation down just a little bit. See if I can get this just a little bit smoothed out on this side. And maybe get a little of that in over here. Maybe a little over here. Something like that. And if you feel like you like where you're at, stop. Something that I don't do very often. Quit while you're ahead. Okay, so now I'm gonna go grab the inking pen. Just the technical one is fine. I'm gonna set the size up to about there, and then I'm just gonna go through and do some stuff like this. So just kind of pull down in places, maybe go up, do some things like that. Let's see. Suppose again, I don't want to go too crazy, but that's my hand coming down on that little jitter effect on the other side. Okay. Let's see how this looks now. Okay, good enough. Let's do this. Let's give us a little ambience here. In fact, I'm going to take the background color down even more, so we get kind of that effect. All right, and then let's put in a nice little moon in the background. I'm going to take the luminance brush, or I'm going to go over here to luminance. There it is. I'm going to grab the light brush, and it's going to make this a nice pure white moon. You can see you get something like that happening. And if you get these little things like that that's going on right there, that's okay. See if it works for you. You might kind of dig it. It kind of gives it more of a spooky effect for sure. And then let's not a very circular moon, but who knows? And then from here, now that it's right there in the middle, let's see. I don't know. I guess that's okay. Actually, that looks a little bit nicer with it kind of seeping through the bottom there. Let's go and let's try a little something to blur out our cliff here. And I'm going to grab the smudge tool. I don't play with this too often, but I did it in my little test piece for this, and I liked what happened with the wet glaze. So let's leave that selected. I've got it basically at about a half tone on the brush opacity, and I'm just going to go through here. Okay, I'm going to make the size a bit bigger. Yeah, something like that. I'm going to try it one more time with the size all the way up and just see. So I'm just kind of lightly going through here and doing that deal. It almost gives it kind of a weird glowing effect. Right? I'm gonna undo it though. I think it was a little bit too intense. Let me try to. This time I'm gonna try to go through it with the opacity down even further. I did like what I did the first time when I hit my test piece, but there we go. A little bit lighter. A little bit lighter. Something. Yeah, there we go. Basically something like that. And I don't know if it just seems like it's maybe there's a little bit extra light on that top part. I don't know. We'll leave it at that for now. Just like at this side. Actually, this side I just want to blur out a little bit. Okay. Now that we've done that, let's go add some clouds in here, maybe a little gradient in the background. So I'm going to go down to this bottommost layer, and let's just find one of the airbrushes, one of our really soft ones, so we can turn up kind of high, and then, oh, it looks kind of nice. Yeah, you know what? It's not what I meant to do, but let's leave it in there and then make another layer. We'll leave that one alone. So it's just kind of one little swoop with that brush. But really what I'm trying to do is just give it kind of more of a blue tone to the background. And let's see how this looks. Okay, all right, there we go. Something like that. And kind of play it how you feel it, you know. If you want to make it really dark up here at the top, go for it. I kind of like it staying dark at the top and maybe being a little bit more blue on the bottom. Okay. And again, it's a pretty big brush. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go. I'm going to take the brush size down a little bit and put some clouds in here. And let me just, let's see. Maybe something a little bit, yeah, around there, I would say. So let's do this on a different layer, though. Try to keep things separate. And now, see how it's kind of doubling up right here? See that effect? You kind of see a little bit of the one before it. I think at times that's fine with clouds. Other times I don't like that, but again, I did this a little bit ago and I liked it. So let's go ahead and keep it. Of course, you can do that a few times. This one I'm trying not to fill in right there. Just kind of almost gives it like a little puffy marshmallow effect. And feel free to do more over here if you want. And I think we could probably sit here and do this all day, but try to keep these sort of short. Now let's go back and see if we can. Oh yeah, sorry. I want to be on the smudge tool. That one right there. I'm gonna try either the wash or maybe the wet glaze again, or maybe wet sponge. That's got kind of a cloudy effect to it. And then let's just go through here and see what that'll do for us. Let's set the size down. Take the opacity up so we actually kind of see this thing working. There we go. Yeah, so it's just kind of, making these things look a little bit more cloud-like, right? Got a nice little puffiness to it now, or fluffy nature. And we can do that all over the place. Could probably do it around that moon burst, whatever you want to call that thing. That we put over there. Yeah, that's really kind of wisping them up a little bit. Should we try it on the moon? Maybe at the bottom where it kind of seems like the cloud is still over there. Let's see. Oh, nope. Somehow I ended up back in that other layer. There we go. Yeah, it's really kind of tearing apart that cloud. That moon, isn't it? What happens if we do that? I don't know. Okay. Let me go to this layer and do a little of that too. Around here I could probably stand to just collapse together some of those layers. I don't know. What do we think about this non-circular moon? Should we change it a little bit? Let me try one thing. A little blue around it. Oop. Oh. Let me set that to white. I'm going to see if I like this more with it just being a little bit more circular. Okay, all right, well, that's fine. Let's go ahead and add some stars in here. So I'm just going to grab the, you know what, I might try this with the the light pen. Let's see if I can dot these things in there. I'm not sure I can. I have to be, yeah. No, let's undo that. It's looking a little weird. Let's try it with the light brush. Let's see what happens. See if I tap just right, I can get something that's kind of circular, but also, you know, has a little bit of a glow to it. Now, one way to like kind of, you know, intentionally glow these would be, or just add more to them. You could duplicate the layer. So you get over here to duplicate, swipe on it, duplicate it, and then on that one, you just go over here and hit up Gaussian blur. You can see, so you get like that happening, right? And then you might even want to take down. Let's see, we go to info on that or whatever that N means. Maybe actually do this. Let's merge this one down to the other layer so that I've just got my stars. What I could do is I could just kind of make them a bit smaller and duplicate that. So duplicate it. Flip it around horizontally. That's at the bottom, right next to the word magnetic. You can flip it horizontally. I don't know. I doubt anybody would notice that that's a duplicate of the other one. Let's do it at least one more time. Put some over here. No, you can rotate these as well. And put some more out that way. Okay, so yeah, we got some stars. Let's see. This is not bad for a 17-minute sketch, I guess. You know, one thing that always looks good in some background art is it sounds counterintuitive, but a little foreground art, right? Put a little something in the foreground of the background, even if you had a character in the front or something, you know. And of course, if you're doing this for real, you'd probably want to separate out something like this and move it at a, if you're panning across the screen or something, move it at a different rate. But we'll put it all together, of course, here. And let's go with the, I guess just the inking, the technical pen. Let me see the size of that. Yeah, it's okay. All right, so let's put some kind of spooky vines on here. And what layer am I on? Okay, I'm on my own. All right, making sure. Now, I'm going to kind of go down. Yeah, if I can get it right. So I just dragged over the swatch from right over there to do that. And go all the way down. Oh, that's a bit too much. Try to taper this thing off. I don't have a steady hand. That's part of the problem. Ooh, it's an interesting one. Okay, looking a little ominous. Maybe one kind of swinging down from the top. Okay, now after you've done that, let's do some thorns on here. For this, grab the studio pen or maybe the brush pen. Let's see, one of them when you start out, it tends to taper a bit more. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that one's kind of doing it. Let's try the calligraphy pen. Nope. Well, maybe not this size. Sorry, I'm trying to find one that's better than the one I used when I was testing this out. I think, yeah, I guess just the studio pen is fine. So you can see if I kind of start out away, away from it and go in. Gives me that nice little taper in the beginning. So it sharpens it up for sure. And you can go through here and just go nuts making thorns. And certainly that adds quite a bit of detail to it. Okay. All right, if you're watching this video and you're not actually at the cartoonsmart.com website and all this dead air, might as well plug the site. I'm sure plenty of you are watching it there. Hopefully using the new picture-in-picture code that I've got up there for viewing the videos. Any new videos are going to have that, where you can and work on your iPad too. You can watch picture-in-picture, so you can kind of work and see what I'm doing at the same time. Okay, so yeah, that's looking all right. And we could always go in here and do some kind of like bats and stuff like that. Let's try to get in here and make that look a little bit better. Wings down, right? We'll make all these a lot smaller, put it that way. Nope. Oh, it's a chubby one. He ate too much. All right, start from the outside, go in. Nope, see, I forgot to do it. Okay, so yeah, let's just grab the selection tool and we'll just make those guys a little bit smaller so we don't see them so much. Okay, and then at the end, I think it's always fun to play around a little bit with the spray paints for the sky. So you can grab whatever you want here. It doesn't matter, maybe a burst or something. And then again, I'm just on a very bottom layer. Just kind of see, let me just see that that's actually working. Okay, yeah, something like that. Just see if that looks all right in some places. Maybe darken things up, and it gives you kind of a nice little effect at times. And certainly it's adding, I think, a little bit of depth. Might even try a little of it above the moon. Yeah, something like that. Take it down a little bit. So it's almost like you're starting to see a little bit of those craters, that moon detail. I'm sure you can hear me tapping. Sounds like I'm tap dancing, right? Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so there we go. I think this actually did turn out a little bit better than my other one. So we'll call that. Maybe now I'm like 1 for 4. Oh, you know what? I did want to show one last thing. If you could always go over here and add a little blurring to because we kind of have these either blur the stuff in the front or blur the cliff area. Let's try it either way. So I've got that layer selected. So if you want to see what that looks like, you could try that. See, I think I actually kind of like those things looking sharp. So you could also consider doing a little blurring on that part of it. Just depends what you're going after. All right. I'm going to undo that blurring. There we go. And I'm going to call it quits. What did we end at? 24 minutes? That's not bad. That's a good illustration for 24 minutes. All right. Be sure to visit cartoonsmart.com for if you're not already there.